Hi everyone, it's me again, and in this Sit With the Coach, we are going to be talking about the MQC that was posted for this week. So, in the video, in the picture, technically, you can see on one side, there's a frail guy with like a bunch of rocks pummeling him and a bunch of stuff pummeling him. And of course he's very discouraged. That's not a very fun thing for anyone to go through. But he seems so sad and he seems like so discouraged that he isn't even doing anything about it. Yet on the other side of the picture, we see a very buff guy, and these same rocks are pummeling him, the same thing is pummeling him, and yet he has a shield to protect himself from it, and he's more confident, and he's pushing through. So the question for that MQC was, how does this relate to running? So before the coach shares his thoughts, I thought might as well. And I believe because as you're starting out with running as a new runner, you feel that all of the responsibilities of running and all the stuff happening is too much. It's a burden. It's like pummeling down on you. And all of that stuff doesn't change. Like, it doesn't get easier the more you do running. You just know how to handle it better. Instead of being the frail guy on one end of the picture just taking it, you figure out how to be like the other guy and find a way to make a bad thing a good thing. Like, take it now. So outside it's raining, and this was supposed to be a walk with the coach, but it's more so a sit with the coach. And outside it's raining, and we meant to go outside, but we didn't want to walk in the rain. So we came inside Quick Check and, problem solving, and it's even more fun now. So turn a good thing into a bad thing, I guess. Handing it off to the coach.
Wow. Guys, after this brilliant explanation, I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you. Oh, that was really awesome, Shreedha. So beautifully communicated the core message of that, which is, when you're given a lemon, make a lime juice. Is that right? Or when you're given a lime, make a lime juice out of it. That is essentially what Shreedha just said. And you're right. Because it's raining outside, you're sitting here, looks like you're having a nice sandwich. I'm enjoying my coffee, and we are having a nice chat, problem solving, live problem solving. The goal of doing this today has not changed. That is what I want all of us to recognize here. We didn't postpone this event. We said 11 o'clock we'll record. We are recording at 11 o'clock, come what may. That's the same thing that applies to running as well. Just because you have some issues doesn't mean that you will stop it. You just have to problem solve, which is a very beautiful word that Shreedha used today, and which we'll be using for the next MISO. The vision of next MISO is problem solving. And as I say, good things happen to good people. Look at the sun now. I'm doing this, and the sun is saying, "What are you sitting inside? Come out." So maybe next message we'll go out and do that. But just to complete your thought, beautiful thought, Shreedha. I'm really proud of you in the way you explained this thing to everybody. Just to add a few comments, if you look at those two slides, guys, the two pictures, the couple of things I want you to figuratively focus on. One, as Shreedha rightly said, the rocks and the snow and everything falling is the same on both sides. Or in other words, problems are not going to go away anywhere. It will always be there. When you have a life, you'll have problems. Problems should not be the reason why you stop doing something. Problems should be the reason why you reinvent yourself to do something, right? Because problems are here to stay. If something is here to stay, then you start thinking innovatively to see how to get over it. That is training. That's really what training is. Now, that problem could be, as Shreedha nicely said, a rain. A problem could be an injury. A problem could be a mental setback. A problem could be a physical setback, a family setback. There are many different issues that can come up. All of this are reason enough to say that now I need to reinvent myself to get over this problem, because doing the same thing and expecting different results, or expecting the whole world to align so that whatever you're doing will get the best output is not a right way to do it.
So actually, there's a quote in a couple of my teachers' classrooms that's really inspiring. It says, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Wow,
so I feel like
wonderful.
That is
So
truly
let me repeat it. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you always got. Wow, what a beautiful quote. Okay, what's the, you have any other quote you said? You said a couple of them, or is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, this is just the one I'm talking about.
This is so beautifully said. So beautifully said. See, that's really what I was trying to say. Again, Shreedha, far ahead of me in saying it in a very nice, crisp way. That's really what I was wanted to say, which is status quo will only get status quo, right? If you have a problem, then the goal is how to change yourself to do something different so that you can get over that problem. So that's the first message that comes out of the picture for me.
Yeah. So actually, just another quote to help. In the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And I feel like if you do that with running, if you do something that injures yourself over and over, you might get to a point where you mentally or physically cannot run, and you do not want that. So you need to change things up a bit.
Ah, beautiful. Shreedha, that's another golden nugget from you, lady. Or a girl, she's such a small girl still. Wonderful, Shreedha. So the second message I want to say on that picture is that the second person had a shield, right? That symbolizes tools that you need to use to, get over the problems, right? The tools. You can't expect the big burly guy because of training has become stronger, but just because you're stronger is not facing the rocks without any tool. He's actually having a tool. What it signifies or symbolizes in training is that training is one part, that continuous running and everything. You also need to make sure that you have the right set of tools that helps you as you build training. The right set of tools is what? The right set of clothing, the gears, not underestimating the importance of a very good shoe or an insole, or a rain jacket if it is a rain, or if it is staying hydrated, noon tablets, gels, goose. These are all different things we keep saying. If you choose to ignore all that and just only train, it's like that big burly guy standing in front of the rock without any tool.
It doesn't matter how strong you are.
You will
rocks
get pounded.
are rocks, and you'll get hit the same.
And you will get pounded, right? So that's the second message I wanted to give you. Use the tools. Don't underestimate words of wisdom and expertise people are telling you. They are giving you that because after making a mistake, they said, holy shoot, if only I had this thing, I could have done better. And that's why they're telling you. Your option is take that advice and implement it, as opposed to waiting for the same mistake to happen for you and then going and doing that. I've seen many runners come and tell you, you told me that, I should buy a new shoe. For whatever reason, I didn't buy a new shoe. I went with the Walmart shoe, and say 6 months later, they come back with a major foot pain. Season is done, and then I'm asking like which shoe you're wearing, and she gives me some reason, and that is when I blow my top and said, oh, you didn't even listen to what I said. So that's what I'm talking about. Tools. It's not just about training, it's the tools. The third and the last message, Shreedha, from that one is, which you nicely touched on, is the concept of problem solving, which I want to tee it up a little bit so that we can go for the next mesocycle. Problem solving. No, you know what? Before I tell, let me ask Shreedha, because she's so good in explaining. How do you understand problem solving, Shreedha?
So problem solving is looking at something from a different angle.
Okay.
Truly, like let's say you have a hill you want to get over, and you can't climb up it because it's smooth. You can't climb it if there's no edges where you can climb. How are you gonna fix that? Are you gonna continue climbing the same way you did and never get anywhere? Or are you gonna find a new way? Are you, let's say, gonna get
finding another option, basically.
Like finding another option. Like, let's say in that example, we could use cleats. Of course, that doesn't mean everything's gonna be as simple as that. Not a lot of things are, but you need to find a way to do something in a different angle.
Wonderful. So guys, my thought on that, and I'll end that with this thought, and then we'll have a separate section on problem solving. See, the art of problem solving and the science of problem solving are two fundamentally, like running. Problem solving is an art to it and a science to it. The art is ability to think in ambiguity. That's not something that everybody is born with, but everybody can develop it. The science is how do you approach the fundamental mechanics of problem solving. Both needs to come together. So as I see a problem solving mind, the first step in problem solving is what we call it as problem definition. Can you clearly articulate what is the problem you're trying to solve? Many times, this wrong articulation or incoherent articulation itself causes lots of roadblocks in finding the solution.
like if you don't know what the problem is, it
How
will
do you
only
solve it?
cause more confusion and you won't know how to fix it.
Exactly. So that's step one, articulating the problem correctly. Spend time on that. Step two of problem solving is identifying the options that are available. You don't have to choose one option, but you need to identify all the options that are available to solve the problem. That could be broadly called as a second step in problem solving. This requires multiple tools are there for finding the options, but laying out all the options on the table before you choose the option is a wonderful second step, and each of these options will have its pros and cons, and then you decide the pros and cons based on what is possible, what is not possible, and then execute on one of the options as a potential solution. That's really what problem solving is at a broad level. And I want you all to think through this week, next week, rest week, peak mesocycle. What is my problem statement? Now that you have done 11 weeks of training, you all will have different side of problem statements in going through peak mesocycle. Is it that you are, bonking or having no nutrition and suffering it out? Was pain in a certain part of the body increasing? Do you find a lack of time? These kind of things, you would have already experienced. Peak mesocycle is a big demand on time, isn't it? So on time and also energy and running metric and all that stuff. So you got to ask yourself, what is the problem that I will expect to hit in my peak mesocycle? Define the problem statement and force yourself to come up with 3, 4, 5 options. Ask your friends. And then if you're able to get the 4 or 5 options out, ask yourself what are the pros and cons, and then see how does this land in this sort of mental map, problem solving map, and pick the one that has the highest return on your effort. This is what I would end this message with, Shreedha, which is, as I summarize this message, so beautifully explained by little Shreedha here. The message here is, problems are going to be common. It's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. What is needed is challenging the status quo. And as the quote that she said, please say it again.
The definition of insanity, or
The one before.
If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
I end that with that beautiful quote. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get. You will
always get what you've always gotten.
You always get what you always got. What a beautiful way to end this message. Keep that in mind. Start tuning your problem-solving mind with the 3 framework I gave you, the 3-step framework I gave you, and we'll see you in the next message with the sun outside. We're going to go outside and do the third message. Thank you guys. Thank you, Shreedha.